And so you're focusing on your business. What exactly is the business? Are you training? Are you doing?
So my business is very interesting.
Yeah.
So my first business, so before the pandemic, this is pretty interesting. I was teaching females pull-ups online.
Female pull-ups?
I'm teaching females pull-ups online.
Okay.
So it's called Pull-Up Revolution. And legitimately every female that would come up to me would be like, oh my God, I love your arms. I've always wanted to get a pull-up. And I'm like, all right, let's get it. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we started doing it. I started doing it a lot in person. And then I, again, started kind of looking online and I was like, there's legitimately nothing out here for females that are like, it's not intimidating and not just like a rinky-dink stupid pull-up thing.
Yeah.
So I started creating it and, as I was, training these people, like kind of figuring out like how I wanted it to be laid out and stuff like that. And it's just like grown over the years. And then when the pandemic hit, like everyone got pull-up bars in their house. So I was just like, all right, let's go. So I made Pull-Up Revolution. I've gotten over 500 women their pull-ups, which is awesome. I love seeing them crush their pull-ups. It's so fun. And then after that, people were like, okay, now what? Like, what can we do with you? And I'm like, oh, shit, I don't know. I'm like, I didn't think about that, So then I threw together this thing called Strong Feels Good, which is now a membership where they come in, they get workouts monthly, changes every single month, but our focus is on strength and feeling good, and we don't allow them to weigh themselves, and it's not like the typical like let's get a bikini body and lose weight type of situations. Like let's get strong and feel freaking amazing and do awesome things.
Oh, I love that.
So that's now my main focuses are that. And then I also do a bunch of stuff with like brand deals and videography, whatever. But my main two things focusing on an hour Pull-Up Revolution and Strong Feels Good.
No, that's awesome. Cause I feel like women are intimidated to do upper body. Like every time you go to the gym, a majority of women are usually just doing legs, squats.
I'm so opposite. So funny.
Yeah. And no, that's what I'm saying is I love that because I think that, they kind of struggle with like, a couple things that and you've probably heard this too. The old, I don't want to get bulky like a man. I don't want to do that. And I'm like, it's not what happens.
It's very hard.
Yeah. And, I think that's a great message you're putting out there. And, women they struggle with pull-ups. And
once they get it, what's really cool is it opens the door to so many other things, right? It's not about the pull-up. It really isn't. Yeah. It's awesome. You come in and get the pull-up. They'll get one pull-up. They'll probably get 2 pull-ups, 3 pull-ups. Oh my God. And then it's like, wait, I just did that. What else can I do in my life? And that's not only for, fitness, but that's life in general. Yeah. So it's this whole concept. That's why we call it Pull-Up Revolution, because it really does revolutionize the way you feel about your entire body. Everything feels different once you finally get your pull-up. And then I've seen people now, they did pull-ups. Now they're like, oh, I'm going to try some kettlebells. Now they feel more confident that they could do that because they started off with something that was impossible. So I think it opens the doors to so many different things. So I'm a huge fan of getting women their pull-ups.
No, that's great. I mean, I do see that a lot of people struggle with that. Like, and then once they get that little win, then it's just building on top of that and that. And, its possibilities are endless. And so how long have you been doing the pull-up one? Just pre-COVID is when it started?
Yeah, pre-COVID, I started that. Again, I've lived many lives. At one point in Rhode Island, I owned a gym for a couple of years, shut down the gym, started the online stuff. So it's
just like was it like a studio or like a full?
Yeah, it was a pretty big gym. It was a functional like training center type situation. I had that for like 2 or something years. I realized quickly that like I did not love owning a gym. I loved the people.
Yeah.
My people were I loved them so much, but I was like, I am not ready to be settled in Rhode Island. I have much more that I want to do. So, and online at first was like not really a thing. So, I think I got into it and people were like, kind of like, wait, what are you doing? Like type of thing. And I was like, no, like online's the way to go because then you can go anywhere.
Yeah. So let me ask you, how many pull-ups can you do?
Everybody asks me that question. It's so funny. I put it on the website now because it's just like people keep asking me it.
Just an FAQ. It's number 1.
Yeah, it's literally like FAQ. How many pull-ups can Angela do? It's like so it's pretty funny. So the max I've done is 26, and this is a really funny story actually. This was in this thing called the Pull Up in the Park Jam in Brooklyn, New York. And I showed up there because someone just told me to do it. I didn't know what the heck I got myself into, but it was super cool to meet this community of people. I get there, I'm like, there's only a couple females, all guys, all like jacked, like calisthenic-y, whatever. And I was the first one to go, so I just like go. I'm like, whatever, I'm just gonna go out there like, screaming and yelling, and just the energy is so great. And then there's a couple other events they make you do, like 2 other ones, which is really fun. And then at the end, they were like, okay, you tied with somebody. I was like, are you kidding me? They're like, you have to do a tiebreaker. I'm like, I didn't expect to do any more. So like,
yeah, I physically can't lift myself.
I'm like, I don't know.
Well, you know what's crazy is I did an event here back in October, and I met these guys in Miami, and they actually live in New York, and they're calisthenic they're crazy.
They probably were there.
Yeah, they're they go by they call themselves the Saiyan Boys.
Oh,
And
I don't know.
yeah, they're big on YouTube. But they were guests down here, and I mean, it's unbelievable watching these guys like do muscle ups like nothing. And they went down to 6th Street, and there's a guy that does like the hanging pull up thing, and they all crushed it. And the guy was like, didn't have the money to pay him, and
he's like, I was not expecting you guys to come here.
All three of them just like smoked it. And then but it's unbelievable watching that. And they don't lift weights. Like I took them to a gym, and they're like, I don't know what to do. And I thought they were messing with me, and they were like, no, seriously, like we don't lift weights. So
see, that's another thing I've been getting a little frustrated with lately, right? Especially with women and stuff like that. All these, you go on Instagram, and I always scroll through. I have a ton of trainers, and I respect every single trainer that I follow, but I do not like when they're like, you have to lift heavy. No. I don't agree with that. Like, I don't think you have to. Okay. Is it beneficial? Yes, it can be beneficial in so many different ways, but I think it's getting really frustrating to me when people are like, yeah, you have to lift heavy to see results. And if you're a trainer and you're not letting your clients lift heavy, then whatever. There's different ways to work out. Yeah. So I don't think that's fair to say. I don't think it's fair to be like, you have to. Because I personally, my body does not do great with lifting heavy. Like I definitely do weights and stuff like that, like sometimes, but I'm more of the calisthenics person, and my body feels good, and I feel great with that. So I get it really frustrated when people are putting like this fitness into certain boxes. Yep. It has to be like this. It does not have to be like that.
Yeah, it don't have to be anything. There's so many forms of ways to exercise. And, my particular favorite is just going and lifting weights in the gym, but I couldn't agree more. Like there are way other beneficial ways for people to get strong and feel in shape, or not feel, but get in shape.